We are live. Episode 49 of the Super Terb podcast about the commits. Let me get all set up here. Share to my personal. You know the drill. Hope everyone's doing well out there. I'm excited about today's podcast. And post this. And get started. Try to edit something real fast. We'll get going. And last but not least, we'll get going. And welcome to the Super Terb podcast. I'm your host, Michael Terb, your local real estate expert with the Untitled Group, Coldwell Banker, HPW, aka Super Terb, aka Coach Terb. And I'm back with episode 49 of the Super Terb podcast. One away from episode 50. I cannot wait. I'm excited. I actually have a great guest scheduled to be on episode 50, but I thought today would be a great time to come and talk to you guys. It's June 2nd. It's hard to believe, and just do a mid-year review of what we've seen in this real estate market here in the Triangle, what we like to call the Raleigh, Durham, Chapel area, specifically in the Wake County market, which is where the capital of Raleigh is. I started this podcast, going about a year and a half ago, to talk about local businesses, entrepreneurs, as well as sprinkling real estate tips, advice. And so I've really had a blast doing so. So I thought today would be great. I'm actually going solo today. I love it. Usually I always have a featured guest, but I thought I'd get into the nitty gritty, talk numbers with you, answer a lot of questions that we're getting from clients and just wondering about the market. So I'm going to take a quick break. And on the other side, I'm going to talk about the first half of the year, what we've seen, what we're seeing now, and what I project for the rest of the year. So if you have any comments, if you're listening, watching it out there in YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn land, send me a comment, send me a message, and I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you may have. I'm going to take a quick break, and I'll be right back on the other side. And welcome back to the Super Terb podcast. Again, I'm your host, Michael Terb, your local real estate expert with the Untitled Group, Coldwell Banker, HPW. And I'm back with your mid-year Triangle real estate review with Super Terb. And the first thing I wanted to go over, guys, is just what we've seen in this first half of the year. And it's been absolutely staggering, the appreciation that we've seen as a whole in Wake County specifically over the last 12 months. But you're going to go crazy when you hear what we've seen in just the last 6 months. So I pulled stats right here from Triangle MLS, and I wanted to go through that with you guys first to show you kind of where we were, where we've come to. Stats. January of 2022, our average sales price coming into the new year was $491,000 in Wake County. Something I want to tell you guys, too, is when we get these stats, we always get them about 30 days behind. For example, so the latest stats we have is April because we got them in May. In June, we'll get May stats and what have you. So we're a little bit behind, but it still gives a great indicator of what we're seeing in the market. So in January of 2022, our average sales price is $491,000. And we fast forward that to April of 2022, our average sales price, guys, you ready for this? Up a whopping, I got to do the math, 60,000 plus. Our average sales price now in Wake County is $559,000. It's up 28% from a year ago where the average sales price was $437,000. So I'm saying that is the appreciation of over 25%. Again, this is specific to Wake County. And the average of inventory, since we started in January of 2022, we had 0.3 months inventory. So I'm not even talking 2 weeks of inventory. As of last month's stats, we have 0.6. So we're still we're under a month, basically 2 weeks of inventory in the Triangle. So it leads me off to what's going on now. Okay, the first 6 months of the market, especially the first 4 months, we have so little supply and such a high demand that the inventory is not there. So that's what's pushing up the purchase prices. You have multiple offers. You have buyers that are coming from out of state. We have on average over 70 people moving here a day, buying property, that are looking at our properties as great deals. Because in Wake County, believe it or not, in January of 2020, our average sales price was $360,000. So people are moving here from other parts of the country, and they're looking at our real estate as phenomenal deals, and they're using the liquid they're coming with and putting that on their new homes, which in turn has raised the purchase price or average sales price in our county. So, but over the last month to 6 weeks, we've seen a shift. Okay. We've seen gas prices on the rise, inflation at an all-time high. We've seen interest rates tick up. I think they're around 5.25%, 5.5%, give or take whatever's going on that particular day, as well as it depends on what you're putting down, credit scores. So there's a lot of moving parts to talk about rates, but it's, of course, something to make somebody pause as buyers. We're also heading towards the summer months. And believe it or not, you would think July would be phenomenal as far as just activity, but a lot of times is where people take a little pause. They have family vacations. They have kids. If you have kids in year-round school, they're going back to year-round school after 4th of July. Traditional schools are out, so they're using that time for vacation. And plus, it's 1,000,000 degrees outside. So a lot of times buyers, we always kind of prepare sellers if they're going to list in the summer of what they're encountering. However, I will say there are a lot of people with boots on the ground. They are here renting. They're in Airbnbs, and they're just waiting for the next opportunity, that next listing to come up. Because when I say we only have a 0.6-month inventory in Wake County, that's the whole county. I'm not talking about North Raleigh, Cary, Wake Forest, Garner, specific areas that someone wants to be in where there's even less listings. So when I said shift before, what does that mean, Terb? That's just it. I think because of the outside circumstances with the economy, with the stock market, with the rising gas prices, with the rising interest rates, we've seen some buyers take a little break. I've also seen some buyer fatigue. Buyers are getting tired, submitting the same offer over and over again. But again, it goes back to why I say who you work with matters to help you get that home, but not the first time, the second time to help you win. But I think a lot of buyers have gone to the sideline, as well as the very high luxury market. When I say that, I never thought I'd be saying this about Wake County, 1.5 million plus that are watching their stock and watching their money. They're taking a pause too on what they're spending money on. But in saying that, if you list your home correctly, you price it correctly. That's why it's so important to be working with an expert in this market. You're going to still create the eyeballs because of the demand. Buyers are going to come, and then the market will dictate the purchase price. What I tell our sellers all the time, doesn't matter where you start, it's where you finish. So we got to make sure we price the home correctly, market it correctly, and then you're going to be doing very well. The difference is you may get 3 or 4 offers versus 8 or 10 that we saw a couple months ago. So that's why a couple weeks ago I made a video and I was trying to put it out there because you're hearing a lot of outside talk. First of all, when you look at the real estate market as a macro, the country is much different than the micro. We're in Wake County, everyone. If you're listening to this video, this is going to be great to chop up later. If you're listening to this video, I'm going to send this out to my clients, my sphere. Wake County is not the same. Wake County was ranked in one publication as the 3rd fastest growing county in the United States. I like to call us the Silicon Valley of the East Coast. All Apple had to do was announce they're coming here, and boy, it exploded. Plus, what COVID taught us is people can live in different parts of the country and work somewhere else. They can work remotely. They love the taxes. They love the weather. They love the beach 2.5 hours away. They love the mountains 3 hours away. They love the universities. They love the healthcare. There's so many reasons why people are coming here, not to mention RTP. So people are coming here in droves to place footings in, raise their family, and then still can work remote. And that's, again, causing the rise in appreciation and, of course, purchase price or sales price. So you're hearing other parts of the country where the market may be softening, or we're going into a recession or a bubble, or we're going to go into a crash. And I know why that's important for people. Why that's coming to people's minds is because of what, if you were around for the 2008 financial crisis and the Great Recession, I could see where people are guarded because, like, Terb, how much longer can prices continue to go up? We can't sustain this. But the way I answer that is you need inventory to have a bubble. If you don't have inventory, you do not have a bubble. Now, eventually these appreciations where we're seeing 25, 26, 28% appreciation, it's not sustainable. Obviously, we're going to eventually plateau. We're going to plateau. And of course, the pricing, the appreciation may drop to 8, 10, 12%. When that's going to happen, I know you guys saw me in my videos as fortune teller Terb. Don't know, but I know we probably got 2 to 4 more years. This talking to my preferred lenders, financial advisors, people that I talk to on a daily. And what we're projecting is that we're going to continue to go and we're going to continue to rise in prices. One other question I get is, how is the economy, such as the rise in interest rates, playing a factor in the market? And I see this as the interest rates rising. First of all, we've been so numb and inundated to low interest rates for so many years that, oh my gosh, Terb, the rate's at 5%. Well, my mom, who's done this for 34 years, can tell me when the rates went from 18 to 12 to 10 and what have you. I know when I first started selling in 2006, if you didn't do a financial 5-year ARM or interest only, your rate was between 7 and 8%, and that was great. My first home in 2006, I had to do an 80-15. That's when people could do crazy, and that's one of the reasons we got in trouble financially in the marketplace. Is people didn't have the equity up front, and were relying on the appreciation of their home. And when, of course, the market shifted, people didn't have the equity, and of course, that started short sales, foreclosures, what have you. That's a whole other podcast topic. But what I'm getting at is a 5, 5.5, even a 6% interest rate is still a phenomenal rate. It's still a phenomenal rate. And the idea of being able to pay your own mortgage versus someone else is something that's pretty critical if you're out there renting. And now what I will say is where the interest rates have factored or play a factor with some buyers is, let's say you're building and you're 9 to 12 months out from closing. That's where I'm talking to my clients about really looking into a 12-month, which a great preferred lender of mine, Michael Martin, his company's doing is a 360-day lock. You can lock further out, so you have peace of mind. Now, it costs you up front to do this. Of course, talk to your lender. They'll be able to advise you on costs and what have you. But at least there's not going to be surprises closer to closing. Let's say you were pre-approved at 5.5%. They're projecting by the end of the year we're at 6%. That could factor on a monthly payment, and where people need to take that into account. Besides that, on the resale market, I personally believe if the rates were pushing people onto the sideline, those particular buyers probably weren't winning in the current market anyway. There's too many outside factors. It's like I said before, being pre-approved is not enough in the market. There's 3 things that you're got to be willing, and able, and just prepared you're walking into. 1, you're going to be in a bidding war. There's going to be multiple offers. 2, we got to factor in factoring in that you're going to be going over asking, and the thing that buyers are very concerned about is the appraised value. So you got to have the liquid and just the understanding of being prepared when the home doesn't appraise, that you have a backup, not even a backup, it's a strategy of knowing how I'm going to still close on this home, even if the home misses on appraisal. And then lastly, in our market, 3rd, you got to be prepared for putting down substantial due diligence. And again, for people that are listening, maybe outside of the state of North Carolina, we have a due diligence contract where our buyers actually put non-refundable due diligence money down, which is credited back to them at closing. But if they terminate for any reason, they will lose that due diligence money. But just to have your name or to be into the top group of offers, I already prepare my clients. You need to be ready to put 10% down in due diligence. So those are the 3 things I tell people right now is if, again, being pre-approved, there's a great of financial loans out there. There's great lending programs, but you also got to be able to show you've got the liquid to make it work and to be in a competing situation to win. So for the rates going up, for those buyers that are maybe effective going to the sideline again, probably weren't able to win and compete in the current market before the rates went up. Of course, what it will do is affect their purchase price. So if people are looking up at 400 to 500, there may be 50,000 below that or where they go. And of course, that dictates on what we will be looking at as far as the homes that we're looking at. That leads me to my other point that I had a little bit of a brain fart, talking about the other factor on not only being pre-approved is if you're looking at, let's say, at that property for 500,000, you want to stop your search at 450 because you've got to have the room for you to go above asking to win. So we got to make sure we're set you up on a search to do that. Another question, is it a great time to buy? Yes, still the best time to buy. I know it's a competitive market. I will say with people maybe taking a break or going some on the buyers on the sideline, if you're out there looking, these next couple months may be the best time for you to get into the market, whether you've taken a break or you're thinking about getting into the market. Why? Maybe a little less competition. Even though we have less inventory, you may not have any buyers you're going to compete with. And I would definitely get in sooner than later to lock in the rates that you can before they continue to rise. And then lastly, whether you're renting or, if you're selling, which I'll get into in a second, get in now and start building wealth, start building your own equity. I've got clients that have been renting for some time, and I know it's comfortable, it's easy, it's safe, but building wealth is getting real estate. And I'll tell you what, I'm selling homes now, our team, where I've helped clients just sell within the last 18 to 24 months, and the return on their investment is absolutely phenomenal. Just helped a client, she bought it with me a little over 2 years ago, a little property, a nice ranch in Clayton, and we bought it for $195 just a little over 2 years ago. We are set to close next week for $350,000. That's life-changing. Now, the conversations I'm having with my clients is about capital gains, because people don't think about that. You have to have a primary residence for 2 of 5 years in the home not to pay capital gains. Now, there's factors into that. If you've owned a home for over a year, the capital gains decrease because obviously you haven't flipped the home in that 12-month time frame. There's also considering factors on tax bracket, income, that I always advise all of our sellers when we sit down to meet, talk to your accountant first if we're within that 2-year window. I have clients I did listing paperwork today that were specifically waiting till the end of July to list. So when we close, they'll be out of that 2-year window. So buy now, get in the market now. It's not going to get any better. People want to sit on like, I'm going to wait it out. What are you waiting for? We have no inventory. It's just going to, we've learned this in school, supply and demand. It's just going to continue because of the high amount of demand and low supply. The prices are going to continue to go up. Get in now, and that way you're building equity and you have a future in regards to being able to create wealth by, again, paying off your own mortgage. So if there's any questions you have about buying or how to start, please message me. Be more than happy to help you, put you in the right connections there. Starts out with a preferred lender, know what you're qualified for, and then we get a game plan from there. Leads to my next question. It's the right time to sell. There's no better time to sell. Now, you've been hearing me say that for years, really since 2016, as we came out of the financial crisis. In my opinion, that's when rates got to 4%. They were encouraging spending like right now, which is why the rates have gone up, is, with the high inflation, they're trying to slow spending. But there's no better time to sell. Just like I touched on the story before, I'm helping clients return on their investment. It's staggering the amount of money that we can help them sell their homes for. And now you can use that money in different ways. Whether that is like my client, she's moving to the beach. She's downsizing. She's going to her dream spot. She's able to use the cash that she's made to buy her next home, pay cash if she wants to. I've helped other clients sell and then go into their dream home, meaning a bigger home. Maybe they want to expand their family. They have growing kids. They want that third floor finished. They want that basement. They want a home with a pool. This is the time. There is no better time to sell to maximize the equity that you've gained in the short amount of time over the last couple years specifically. So again, if you're at all thinking about selling, please reach out to me. Please message me, and we'll do a no obligation, just market analysis for what we think that what we could sell your home for, and we can have that discussion. What I'm starting to do with my clients that have bought, I'm always in communication with them, my past clients, is talk to them about what kind of the return and the appreciation they've gained over the last couple of years. Because again, talking about capital gains is the best time to get your home on the market and sell. I think one thing I wanted to touch on again as well, I talked about it previously in the podcast when I started, is the forecast of our area and where I see it going. And we've seen the first 6 months is just a rocket ship. And right now, I think we're just kind of orbiting. Now, the pricing is still continuing to go up. But again, with the shift and just the demand lowering a little bit, but the supply is still so low, it's really irrelevant. I see the foreseeable future, as well as the last 6 months of this year, as continued growth. I see buyers still wanting to buy homes and the best time to sell. And again, it goes back to the reason being that in Wake County specifically, we've just been undervalued for decades. for decades. And this was the area where you would always think, I'm going to go and get a great buy, great investment. And now when I start talking to people, well, the days of finding a single family home for $350,000, $400,000 in North Raleigh, it really doesn't exist anymore. That's why people are even going further out, down to Sanford, Wendell, other parts of outside Wake County because of price point. And again, I see that the demand is going to continue, and it just goes back to where Raleigh and people want to live here. So again, if you have any questions about the market, let me know. And lastly, again, advice for buyers that are out there listening: get in the game now. Get in the game. Really have that conversation before you sign that next lease for the next 12 months. Let's talk. Let's see what we can do to help you. Sellers, talk to us. There's ways we can navigate this crazy market as well, because the number one complaint, not a complaint, but number one concern is, Terb, we don't know where we want to go. And there's things that we can do to help put you in position to win. First, right now, what's very popular is sellers, because of leverage, we're able to sell your home, close in 30 days, and then we can actually negotiate a seller possession post-closing for up to 59 days if the buyer is getting a loan. In some cases, we can even go and get a permission, depending on what lender, maybe even more for the more days over 59. But 59 is is the normal days in which a buyer can purchase a home and allow a seller to stay in the home and not look at it as an investment property. So what we're able to do at that point is help our sellers close, get their proceeds, and now go to work on finding that next home. And the ability of being able now to be in competitive offer situations, stating, we don't have a home to sell, you've got the liquid to be competitive with due diligence, and we put you in the right position to win and buy that next home and use this equity that you've gained in this time frame of this rapid appreciation. If there's anything we can do, guys, again, I wanted to come on here and just give you an overview of the market, what's been going on, and what I see in the future. Do not hesitate to reach out to me. Please message me. We love helping people win. We love helping people accomplish the real estate goals. We can't thank you for the support and the constant referrals that you guys are giving us. We couldn't do what we do without the friends, past clients. I hate saying past clients because I look at every past client as a friend first, but the support of wanting to help us win by helping other people. So let me know how we can help you. As always, I love you guys listening. If you like the podcast, please subscribe. I'd love that. We're on Apple, we're on Spotify, of course, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. And if you're all wanting to be on the podcast, again, this was kind of different for me. It's the first time I've been on the podcast by myself, just talking. I usually have a guest that I feature, talk about their business. I've had agents, I've had coaches, I've had lenders, I've had financial advisors, I've had attorneys. I love hearing their stories. I love seeing how people win. And let me know if you'd love to be on. Would love to help you have people hear about your business or what you're doing. So I'm going to sign off now. And if you have any questions at all, please message me. Again, it's Michael Turbot, your local real estate expert with the Untitled Group, Coldwell Banker HPW, a.k.a. Super Terb, a.k.a. Coach Terb, out in Raleigh, North Carolina. As always, guys, remember, who you work with matters, and have a wonderful day. See ya.